Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are constructing a gentle, fluid flow. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice standing towards the back end of the mat with a little bit of runway to play in front. You're going to look down towards your feet and find a tall standing stance that works for you, preferably with the legs apart. It could be hip width distance apart or in a wider summer seated. Find a stance that works for you. Start to root through the feet. Start to look for length in the legs. Carry that line of length through the spine and drop the arms heavy at your side. Stand up nice and tall, taking a few moments to just situate yourself on the mat. Then take the L frame between your index finger and your thumb, hook it around the waist and come into a gentle supported back bend, bumping your hips forward slightly over your knees, and just pause in a gentle back bend here, supporting your lower back with your hands. Breathe nice and deeply into the front of your ribs. Then restack, realign your body. Arms are long and dangly at your side. You're going to take a big breath into prep. And on an exhale, you're going to bring it into a roll down pattern. Think hollow belly, rounded back as you roll down over an imaginary Swiss ball. Take it down as far as you can. Take a recovery inhale and then use your whole exhale. Peel up slowly, leading one line of the ribs at a time, thinking of that hollow, almost cat-like back as you restack and realign. Then take a big breath in and sweep the hands overhead, coming into a gentle back bend again and bumping your hips forward over your knees in an unsupported back bend. Look for that stretch in the lower belly. Continue it through the ribs and breathe nice and deeply into the chest. Then keeping the hands overhead, restack, realign your whole body and take it into a roll down from here, almost diving down over that ball for the mat. Think of that hollow, almost cat-like stretch through the back. Keep that same hollow frame as you lead with the back of your ribs to restack, to realign your body, relaxing your arms long and heavy at your side as you restack. Take a big breath in, either just floating your hands behind you and reaching for the wall, or if you've got the range of motion, bring the two hands together, make a tight fist, start to drop that fist down between the bum cheeks as you come into your back bend again, thinking slight curve through the back, shoulder blades coming together behind, chest opening up generously, breathe into your chest center. Then unbind the hands and bring them back together in a little fist in front. Think of that fist as being the anchor of a ship and start to drop the anchor down into the water as you hollow out again into that roll down. Make the fist nice and heavy to the floor. Think of that almost cat-like stretch through the back. Then unclasp your hands and walk your way forward onto the belly in a fashion that is comfortable for you. Peel down onto the chest. We're coming down into a small cobra line. Hands alongside your chest, fingertips just in front of your shoulder line, elbows squeezed in together, and legs in parallel. Relax your forehead to the mat. Find an imaginary marble underneath your nose and peel up into a small chest lift. Bottom ribs still touching, and bring it into a few rounds of spontaneous cobra, undulating up and down, leading with one shoulder and following with the other, doing a few rounds leading on one side and then changing it up and leading with the opposite shoulder. There's no right, there's no wrong. Just start to release the tension that you're holding on to in the shoulders. Then peel back down to the mat and start to extend the arms one at a time onto the mat or the floor in front of you. Arms are long and extended, legs are soft and relaxed and parallel, forehead gently connected to the mat. Start to gently press into your palms. Keep those palms active as you peel up once more into a gentle cobra line. Small little chest lift, still keeping that bottom rib connected. Actively press down into the palms and carry that press down into the shoulders as if you were making your whole shoulder and collar line heavy to the mat. Feel the stretch through the line of the arms and into the shoulders. Stay or add a double leg lift coming into a little modified locust line. Feel your lower belly and your hip bones digging into the mat. Keep your toes long and reaching. Keep your hands and your arms active. Then relax the feet gently back down to the mat. Bend your elbows one at a time, finding your way onto the forearms and starting to press up into a higher chest lift. Think Sphinx. Try not to collapse your line towards the mat, so gently push away and try to open up the space between the two shoulder blades. Breathe nice and deeply into the front of your ribs. Keep your gaze just off the front of the mat and try to look for the longest neckline that you can forge. Keep your glutes soft, keep your legs soft. We're going to ease our way from this Sphinx line into a puppy line. You're going to start to walk the elbows closer towards your body line. You're going to begin to bend your knees. You're going to walk back till you can softly extend the arms on the mat with your lower belly quite close to the tops of your thighs and your bum pumped up to the sky. You're going to drop your chin and your chest to hover just off the floor, and you're going to look off the front of your mat so that you can feel quite an intense stretch into the shoulder and the chest area. Breathe nice and deeply. Keep belly to spine. Then start to walk your hands back more, coming into the soft, gentle expression of child pose. You can keep the parallel leg line, or you could do big toes together and knees slightly apart. But release the tension in your shoulders by relaxing your elbow points, your forearms, lift all 10 fingers off the mat, and then softly re-drape them to the mat so that your arms just feel like two long, relaxed, wet noodles. Breathe nice and deeply into the sides of your ribs. Take a few moments in child pose, Balasana. From here, we're going to find our way into a high pigeon line. Think of peeling up into a 4-point meal and start to drag your right knee forward and then start to wiggle walk the foot in so that you've got a nice little brace on that front foot. Make sure that the front knee is either in line with your hip or slightly wider, and then wiggle around and try to get a sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. Stay here or come into an unsupported high pigeon by starting to engage and draw up along the inner thighs of the core. See if you can bring the hands off the mat. Maybe you're sweeping them behind you. Maybe you're stacking and holding onto the forearms. Find an expression of a high pigeon line. You could even throw the hands overhead and allow them to look up towards the sky. Take a few gentle breaths here, looking for balance, looking for control. Breathe. We're going to ease our way from this pigeon line into a plank line. So when you're ready, begin to place your hands one at a time onto the mat. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor, and swing your front leg back, coming into a nice strong plank line. Body line as parallel to the mat as you can. Try not to collapse between the two shoulders. Pause here and look for extra length in the calves and the heels. So think of sending the energy back towards the back end of your mat. We're going to down dog it from here. Maybe sliding your feet half to a full foot space forward. Give me a few forward pedals. So bending one knee, extending the other leg. And then release gently into the hips by starting to play with a soft rotational movement through the knees and the hips as you find blissful dog, Spananda. As the hips and the legs start to warm, begin to settle into a down dog hold. Think pike-like frame, piked up nice and high. Try to make the heels as heavy to the floor as you can. Stretching arms, stretching legs, stretching the entire body as you settle into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From this down dog, we're going to try to make our way towards the top end of the mat, and we're going to marry a down dog with a cat-like stretch. Find your way onto the tips of your fingers. Come onto the tip of your toes and then try to hollow out your belly, round out your back as if you were coming into a cat stretch. And geisha style, take little tiptoe steps towards the top end of the mat, keeping that cat-like stretch in your back. So really nice and deep into the back of your ribs. You're going to come into a forward fold from here. You could do hands to floor, you could do hands to shins, or you could do hands to the top of your thighs. If your hands can easily reach to the floor, you're going to ease your way into gorilla pose by tucking your hands, palms up underneath your feet, and starting to look for a gentle rocking motion into the balls and the heels of your feet. You could play with the same rock, even if the hands are not underneath the feet. You can place the hands on the shins and play with that same rock. You could keep a bend in the knees if you need it. Start to iron out that tightness along the back chain of the legs as you come into Padahastasana, gorilla pose. Come to stillness when you're ready. Start to feel that little buzz as the blood begins to pool in your head. Then ever so gently, feed your hands out one at a time. Bend the knees softly. Make sure you've got enough runway behind you. You're going to peel up really slowly, ragdoll style, leading one line of the ribs at a time. First stacking your knees over your ankles, then your hips over your knees, then your shoulders over your hips, then center align your head. Take a big breath in. We're going to step back, lunge style into a warrior two, windmilling the arms open. And once you've found your stance, you're going to start to wiggle, walk the legs further apart, and you're going to start to make your pelvis heavy to the floor as you settle into Virabhadrasana to warrior two. Keep those arms at about shoulder height. Keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger once you've found your position on your mat, and watch that you're not dropping the lead knee in towards the center line. Look for strength, look for courage within your warrior stance. Then let's transition into a modified triangle line. Start to straighten up the lead leg and actively start to pull the energy up from the kneecap along the quad. Take a nice little stretch here. Pretend somebody's pulling on your lead arm, lean forward, and then just give me a gentle hinge to place your palm softly on your shin and stretch the top arm up towards the sky. So we're not aiming for the floor or the inseam of the leg, we're just gently pressing into the shin bone. Keep all 5 toes on the lead leg actively pressed down and stretch the top of your foot and your ankle. Then start to bend the lead knee, relax your lead elbow, and bring the back arm closer towards your ear as you come into a modification of side angle. Pause here, looking for that stretch through the line of the back leg, through the line of the ribs, through the line of the arm. Keep belly to spine and try to hold all of your weight in the core and not lean everything into your lead leg. We're going to change our orientation on the mat slightly from here and ease our way into a goddess line. Start to relax the back arm. Look at your front foot. Aim it for the corner of your mat and then replicate the line on the other leg. Coming into a goddess line, take a moment to just wiggle around, maybe placing your hands just gently on the tops of your thighs as you settle into your plie line. You can stay here with your hands hanging on your hips, or if you'd like to, you can fist the hands behind you and try to open up generously through your chest. Try not to stick your bottom out, so give me a small 12 o'clock tilt through the pelvis so that you can feel the whole pelvis is tucked underneath the carriage of your trunk. Modified goddess, Uttaka Konasana. Then let's straighten up the feet, coming into a wide standing straddle. Anchor through the feet, activate your inner thighs and start to fold forward gently. Maybe you're stopping in a tabletop line. Maybe you're coming through the tabletop line and you're thinking crown to floor and knuckles to sky. You can give yourself a little bit of distance between the two palms. You can even open up and square through the wrists. Prasarita Padotulosana. Keep belly to spine. Look for that little buzz as the blood starts to pool in your head. Keep those feet and those inner thighs active. Gently uncouple the hands from behind you and place them on the floor. Start to walk your way towards the top end of the mat, rearranging your legs so that you're in a soft lunge line. Both hands on the floor. Relax the back knee, relax the back shin. Just take a little lean forward here, placing your fingertips or your palms on the mat. Lean forward as if you were trying to bring your chin and curl it over the top end of your mat. Finding a modified expression of a low lunge, Anyanyasana. Then start to gently walk your weight back, stepping or rather stacking the back hip over the knee. Start to extend the front leg. And first, keep all 5 toes on the mat and just look for the stretch into the ankle and the top of your foot. Then cat-like stretch to the back. Then bump your bum back slightly, peel the front toes off the mat and press off the heel. Stay here, hanging halfway, or sit back bum to heel. You could place a cushion or a block underneath your right bum cheek if you can, and just take a soft bow here. You can do fingers or palms to floor. Just take a gentle bow, not forcing the stretch, making your crown heavy to your lead leg, keeping a gentle belly to spine position and breathing nice and deeply into your whole back line. Take a few moments here in your modified Janusirsasana, head to knee. Then we'll change the setup frame of the legs slightly and find our way into an open gate line, Paringasana. Start to gently peel up your trunk from your fold. If you've got a block or a pillow underneath your right bum, just slip it out. You're going to start to lean heavy into your right bum. You're going to slide the left foot and knee out. And you're going to either give yourself an L frame between the two legs, or you can bring the two knees closer together, or if this feels really uncomfortable, you can change the setup frame totally and do sole of the foot to the inseam of your extended leg. So find a seat that's working for you. One leg bent, the other extended. You're going to take a big breath in, and on an exhale, you're going to fold forward again. Maybe just fingers to floor, maybe palms and forearms to floor. Maybe you're reaching for the undercarriage of your foot, using a strap or your hands, and you're tucking the toes under. Find what works for you and just hold. Keep a gentle belly to spine position. Breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Try to keep your inhalations and your exhalations exclusively through the nose. Then think about how you're going to find your way from your current frame into an easy sit with the right leg in front. Start to peel up, look towards your back leg, swing it around, tucking the heel in as close towards the perineum as you can, and stack the right leg in front. Take a moment to just wiggle bum cheek to bum cheek and start to settle the weight of your body into the mat, coming into a nice tall seat in Sukhasana, easy sit. Look for a comfortable, natural, neutral spinal line, but a long sense of trunk. Take a big breath in and float your hands overhead, filling your lungs to maximum capacity. Then on an exhale, softly fold forward. You could do fingers to floor, you could do palms to floor, you can do forearms to floor. Just take a few moments here, then your gentle fold. Take that breath into the middle and the top of your back. Try to melt your shoulders away from your ears. Try to make your crown heavy to the floor. Look for elasticity in the spine. Use your breath to find that release in the back. Keep your breath soft and relaxed. Try not to tense up. Then start to lean the weight forward from here, beginning to roll onto both knees. You can walk the hands slightly forward if you need to. You're going to unravel the feet behind you, bringing them back into parallel. You're going to walk back into the soft haunch line and then come into a forward fold, reaching from the inside to wrap your hands around the inside of your ankles, or you could work higher up along the chain of the leg. You could wrap around maybe the calves or maybe the tops of your thighs. Hold the fold with an active grasp from the inside and start to gently rock the weight back and forth between the balls and the heels of your feet. Maybe hold for a few seconds with all the weight in the toes and the balls. And then maybe hold for a few seconds with all the weight in the heels, without lifting the toes off. Then find a midway point with the weight beautifully balanced and hold. And soften your knees, soften your arms so that you look like a rag doll and peel up really gently, slow as you can. Think of that cat-like frame through your back as you restack, realign your whole body in one long line. Bring your hands together in a soft but active prayer mudra in front of your heart with your elbows tracking wide, and give yourself a few moments of stillness, of quiet contemplation. Then take a big breath in to prepare. Use the L frame between your index fingers and your thumb to hook around your waist. Come into a gentle supported back bend, bumping your hips forward over your knees and breathing generously into your chest and your throat center. Then restack, realign the body, drop the arms heavy at your side, hollow out and start to roll down over that imaginary ball. Look for that hollow frame through your body as you roll down. So you're thinking cat-like stretch as you roll down. Take a recovery inhale and use that same cat-like stretch, leading one line of the ribs at a time to come back up into a tall stance, restacking your whole body. Take a big breath in, float your hands overhead. Then bump the hips forward, coming into an unsupported back bend. Breathing nice and deeply, stretching through the lower belly and the front of your ribs. Exhale to dive down towards the mat. Peel back up and look for that hollow cat-like stretch. Restep, realign, and then relax the arms heavy at your side as you find your stance. Float the hands behind you, either reaching for the wall or making a little fist. Start to drop the fist down between your bum cheeks. Bump the hips forward again, coming into your back bend, thinking shoulder blades coming together, chest opening up even more. Breathe into the belly and the front of your ribs. Then unclasp the hands, restack, realign, and reclasp the hands in front, making yourself a little anchor. Start to drop the anchor into the water. Think of that hollow frame as you come down. Pause here. Breathe into the back of your ribs. And then when you're ready, you're going to slide, walk, creep your way onto the belly, and you're going to find your way into a little sit-up for a cobra line. Relax your forehead to the mat, and then when you're ready, peel up into a small chest lift and start to play with that soft, undulating release through the shoulders as you find Sahaya Bhujangasana, spontaneous cobra. Leading a few times with one shoulder and then changing it up and leading with the other. Peel back down, and as you do so, extend the arms one at a time and find your way back down, forehead to floor. Give yourself a few recovery breaths, and then start to gently press down through the palms and peel back up into your small chest lift. Start to look for more active work through the palms. Start to try and make your shoulders heavy to the floor. In fact, your whole collar and shoulder line becomes heavy to the floor. Maybe you can add a double leg lift. Keep the hands active. Keep your gaze just off the front of your fingertips. Pause here in your modified locust, Salamasana. Then relax the legs back down to the mat and start to bend the elbows one at a time, pressing off the forearms and starting to stretch through your neck and your spinal line as you come into Sphinx. Strong through the forearms, look for that length through the spine, getting not only work into the back, but a nice little stretch into the belly area. We're going to ease our way from the Sphinx line into puppy pose. Start to draw your elbows closer towards your body line. Begin to bend the knees. Think of piking your bum up towards the sky. Relax your chin and your chest to the floor and look off the front of your fingertips. Look for that stretch into the shoulders, into the pecs. Keep belly to spine. Then start to draw back a little bit more, coming into a relaxed child. As you sit down bum to heel, relax your elbows, relax your forearms and your hands so that the arms are just like soft, relaxed noodles. Try and connect your third eye to the mat and just breathe here for a few gentle breath cycles. Look for lateral expansion through the ribs as you breathe. We're going to ease our way from here into a high pigeon line. So when you're ready, think 4-point kneeling and start to draw the left knee forward. Then start to rotate the left foot in, rearrange the front leg and walk the back leg away, starting to wiggle the body weight side to side and begin to settle the weight of your body into your pigeon line. Even through the shoulders, even through the pelvis and the hips. Stay here, fingertips to floor, or activate your inner thighs and your core and see if you can bring the hands off the floor. Maybe you're doing a throw up to the sky. Maybe you're doing a throw back. You could fist the hands, or you could just stack them gently behind your back, holding onto the forearms, using those inner thighs, using your core to hold your pigeon line. You could tuck a block and wedge it underneath your bum cheek or the crease of your bum on the left if you need some support for your pigeon line. Eka pada Dayaka Potasana, one-legged pigeon. Then when you're ready, you're going to unravel your body and ease your way into a plank, or you could come to a 4-point tabletop line with a long stretch through the neck and the spine, if you prefer. Look for strength, look for length, wherever you are, and try to keep your spinal and your neckline as parallel to the mat as you can, with that core strong and working. Then begin to down dog it. Start to pike your bum up to the sky and begin to slide your feet forward, maybe a half to a full foot space forward. You could give me maybe a few forward tracking knees, so bending one leg and extending the other. Maybe you want to give me a few playful rotations through the knees and the hips as you find Svananda. Then begin to settle into your dog and look for the stretch through the arms, through the leg, holding a nice high putt bum position. Arms stretching, legs working, whole body taking an amazing stretch here. Now we're going to try to get to the top end of the mat using a modified cat stretch. So find your way onto the tips of your fingers. Give me a tiptoe position and start to look for a cat stretch as if you were hollowing out your belly and round out your back. Keep that cat-like stretch as you begin to tiptoe forward. Coming into a gentle forward fold, either hands to floor or hands to shins. If you'd like, you can come into gorilla pose, Padahastasana, by tucking your hands palms up underneath your bottom and beginning to play with a gentle forwards and backwards rocking motion into the feet. Start to look for that little buzz as the blood begins to pool in your head. Look for that beautiful stretch up the back chain of your legs, into the arms, into the shoulders, bit of toning into the feet and the hands. Then soften your knees, feed your hands out. Ragdoll style, you're going to gently and slowly peel up, making sure you're coming up as slowly as you can, one line at the ribs at a time, and bringing your head up last so that your body has an opportunity to just stabilize your blood pressure. Then windmill the hands back as you step back into a warrior 2 lunge, angling out the back foot at 90. As you settle in, start to wiggle, walk the feet further apart. Make sure that you're not collapsing the lead knee in and that you're not dropping the back hand. So if you need to take a glance back, check your back arm, check your front arm. And then once you've settled in, keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Look for strength, look for length, look for power, look for control. Then begin to straighten up the lead leg, actively draw the energy up along that quad. Lean forward and find your way into a gentle expression of triangle pose, relaxing your palm to the top of your lead shin, opening up the back hand to 90. Keep both legs long and extended. Start to rotate gently towards your open side so that you've almost got a stacking position through the hips. Then begin to bend your lead knee, relax your lead elbow, maybe bring the top arm, or the back arm rather, closer towards your ear. Try not to lean all of the weight into the lead thigh. Think of trying to hold it in your core. Purvottanasana. Then start to rotate here. Oh, no, sorry, not rotate. We're going to find our way from here into the goddess line. So look towards your lead leg. You can start to relax the arms to the tops of your thighs. You're going to ankle your front foot towards the corner of your mat, and you're going to replicate the plie line on the second leg. Taking a moment to just settle into your goddess, reposition your feet. Keep your hands on the tops of your thighs, or maybe float the hands behind you. You could maybe fist the two hands together, bringing the shoulder blades together and opening up generously through your chest. Then straighten up the feet and start to fold forward into a standing straddle. Maybe you're stopping in table, maybe you're coming through the line and you're thinking crown to floor and knuckles to sky. You could keep your knuckles closed, or you can open up into more of a gentle bind behind. Just see where you need to be. Keep those feet squared, keep them active, and keep your inner thighs working. Look for that little buzz as the blood begins to pool in your head. We're not looking for pressure on the head, so you're trying to keep that crown hovering just off the floor. Then release the bind, place your hands on the floor and start to walk towards the top end of the mat, rearranging your legs in a gentle lunge line. Then start to relax the back knee, shin and foot. Take a moment here, just leaning the weight forward over the front edge of your mat. You can give high spider fingertips or a flat hand, whichever works for you. And then start to morph into Ardha Hanumanasana, a little hamstring stretch, starting to walk your way back. Maybe looking for a stretch in the lead leg, keeping all 5 toes on the mat. Look for the work in the ankle on the top of your foot. And then bump back slightly more. Think toes to sky, heel pressing off the mat. Stay here, hanging your bum halfway between the hip and the back foot, or take a seat back, bum to heel. Just take a gentle bow here. Give yourself a few moments. Maybe you're looking for an opportunity to close your eyes and take your focus inward and just breathe, just be. Try to keep your breath exclusively through the nose so that you're activating into your parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body. Then think about how you can change the current frame of your legs to come into a gate line. Start to peel up your trunk, start to drop onto your left bum and start to open up on your bent side. So maybe you can do bum to heel with the knee open and forge a little 90 frame between the two legs. Maybe you want to bring both knees closer together, or maybe you'd like to change the setup frame and bring the sole of your foot to the inseam of your extended leg. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, you're gently going to fold forward. And you're going to find a fold that works for you, and you're going to hold here for a few moments. Close your eyes, focus on your breath. Try to iron out any tightness along the back of the left knee. Breathe. Then gently peel up. Reach for the back foot, swivel it around, tuck the heel in as close towards your perineum as you can, and stack the left foot in front. Wiggle in your weight, bum cheek to bum cheek, as you settle into Sukhasana, easy sit. Sit up nice and tall with your hands relaxed to the tops of your thighs, and just look for a neutral spine but a sense of length through the trunk. Then take a big breath in and float your hands to the sky, filling your lungs to maximum capacity. Take a little stretch here. And on an exhale, gently fold forward, maybe just fingertips or palms to floor. Maybe you can do forearms. Give yourself a few breaths here. making your crown nice and heavy to the floor, keeping your belly button gently pulled into center, breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. And then take a few moments here to decide where you'd like to be to end off your practice for today. So you could elect to stay in your current seat. Maybe you'd like to take your mat and put it against the wall. You could do legs against the wall. You could do back, just seated up against the wall. Legs maybe in an easy sit or a half or a full lotus line. Or maybe you'd like to come to Shavasana. So take a few moments, situate yourself on the mat. And once you find yourself settling in, just close your eyes, take your focus in. We're going to end with a little bit of a visualization exercise, a little bit of Nidra visualization. So once you're settled, close your eyes, take your focus inward, and start to focus on your breath. Give me a long inhale and a long exhale. Start to find a long, relaxed breath pattern, inhaling and exhaling exclusively through the nose, if you can manage it. Start to relax your breath, relax your body, relax your mind. Begin to visualize the scene that I'm going to set for you. See yourself standing outside alongside a beautiful, meandering river. It's a bright, beautiful day full of promise. Take a moment to really see, hear, and enjoy the beauty of the nature that cocoons you. The stunning plant growth alongside the riverbank, the chatter of small creatures going about their daily life, the excited gush of the flowing river water, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, depending on what's in its path. See and marvel at the rounded, multicolored pebbles making up the riverbed, smooth and shiny from years of running water over them. Fashion yourself a pallet to lie on, using the massive sun-baked rocks alongside the flowing water. As you lie down and settle the weight of your body down, feel the rock transferring its sun-baked heat to you. Feel almost like you're melting into the warmth of the rock. Close your eyes and just be. Like the river, be fluid. Fluid in thought, fluid in spirit. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale fear, exhale calm. Inhale anxiety, exhale serenity. Inhale damage and hurt, exhale healing health and wellness. Stay here for a few more quiet moments, focusing on the gentle pattern of your inhale and your exhale. Not actively trying to control it, but just keeping your breath, your body, and your mind soft, fluid, and relaxed. Looking for calm serenity within the fluidity of your breath and the softness that you're trying to create within. When you're ready to end off your practice for today, whether you're lying down, seated, you're just going to bring your hands together in a gentle expression of prayer, actively pressing into both palms, giving yourself a quiet moment, and thanking yourself for making time to look for that fluid softness within. Om Shanti to you. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Hope you enjoyed today's practice. Till next time, keep it light.